Oh, I'm starting, and I forgot that this music isn't exactly long enough. This is less 20 seconds. But today, we're talking about choices. You can choose your friends. You can choose where you live. You can choose your eat. You can choose what bathroom you use. You can choose what road and route you're going to take to get to wherever you're going that day. You can choose your career. You can choose your job. You can choose your family, kind of, not really. You can choose who you make the most of the family. You've got lots of choices. And today we're going to talk to someone who's made choices. He made choices to go and let's say he made one of the best choices in the world. He chose Michigan as his favorite team. He made his best choices of choosing to work with PayProTec. Hey, I'm biased. I fully admit that. And he made a choice to move from being a college recruiter to getting in emergent services to now being a POS guru. And sometimes it's the choices that shape you, and it's the opportunities that make you thrive. And when you grab it all together, you grow. And today we're going to talk to one of the co-founders of TruNorth Payments. I'm holding it in my hands, but before we go any further, let me bring up the man, the myth, the legend, the man who chooses to make POS not a complete POS, Mr. Matt Proctor. How are you, Matt? How are you making POS not a POS today there on the north side of Indianapolis?
Hey, it's good to see you, brother. It's good to see you. And yes, I'm so excited that TruNorth chose to work with us and chose to be part of our amazing family, so that we could grow together. As I keep looking at different softwares, we keep perfecting what we're doing. And, we pivot when we need to. We make our own choices to get the right softwares and systems out there for you guys as partners. But yeah, with that being said, Nate, a big drum roll here. Introduction. Ben Wickersheim. Brother, how are you? It's
What's
good to
going
see
on?
you.
What's going on?
Ben, we
So glad you
find
could
you.
join us today.
You are actually in the True North, based in Wisconsin. How is life there in Wisconsin? And let's start with the most important question: how are you a Michigan fan instead of a Wisconsin fan? And God bless you.
How the heck am I a Michigan fan? When I was a kid, Michigan was amazing. I mean, we had Brian Greasy was a part of it. Charles Woodson.
Charles
Going further
Woodson, yeah.
back, we had Gerbach. We had Desmond Howard. How do you not become a Michigan fan? Wisconsin at the same time was not as good as they were later in the decade. So I don't jump ship. How do you not love the wing helmet? Come on, man! It's everything about Michigan is it's hard not to be a fan.
Well, yeah,
And
that's
Nate,
why
I
we
do have
like
to
you,
say,
Ben. I
John,
mean, Ben makes some of the best choices in the world, but we're not going to only talk about Michigan. And of all things, I dropped my son off at IU 2 days ago, which I know Mr. Proctor is an IU fan. But we're going to move on to the choices you made. But I want to kind of start this out. You were a college recruiter, and you
Yep.
transitioned to starting to sell merchant services and eventually point of sale. How did you make that decision, kind of building that groundwork before we jump into all things POS?
It was a challenging decision. I met my business partner back in the craziness of COVID in 2020. He pitched this opportunity to me. I did a couple ride-alongs with him and realized that this is something I think I can do. I'm pretty good at dealing with people, and I'm pretty good at getting people to have a conversation at least with me. And from there, I hit the ground running. And I haven't looked back since. It's been an amazing, five almost or going through 5 years here. It's been an amazing 5 years, and the last two and a half with PPT has been the highlight of my career so far in this world.
Well, we're hoping to keep growing. I'm going to ask this, and then
well,
I'll let Matt
Nate, can
jump.
I jump? Can I
Oh,
jump
go
in with a
ahead.
quick question?
All right, go for it.
I I would love to know, what exactly you guys looked at so many different, companies out there,
We
and,
did.
and really you talked to so many of them. You met obviously with PayProTech a few times. I would love to know what was kind of that final piece that made you and your partner decide, like, okay, this is it for us. These are the ones. Nate Manahan, Danny Shard, Matt Proctor. These are our guys.
Um, Coming from the end, like knowing enough about the industry, and Greg's got 15 years of experience in this world. So leaning on him quite a bit with what the industry is, and then my own personal knowledge in the industry, I had criteria that needed to be met in order for me to make a decision to make a change. We interviewed a lot of different people, a lot of different companies, a lot of different salespeople, and they're all good in their own right. I'm not here to talk bad about any of them. They're all good in their own right, but the number one thing that kept bringing us back to PPT was we instantly felt like we were a part of the family from the first conversation with Danny Shard. And it only grew from that point forward. We interviewed Danny, I want to say 2 or 3 times, and every time it got more and more easy to make that decision to come over to PPT and stay here. I mean, we're very dedicated. Like I think, I hope Nate and Matt, you guys can say this. We're very dedicated to the people we work with. As much as we get out from you guys, we try to put it back to you guys as well. So it's been an amazing blessing the last 2 years of growing with you guys and having the opportunities put in front of us over the last 2 years for us to grow, to create TruNorth Payments and really grow our own brand and our own entity.
Absolutely. We're gonna keep blowing it up together, brother.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
And
sorry,
we're
Nate, if I stole one of your questions, I apologize.
No, you're good. Well, but I wanted then. You've been doing this for about 5 years. Greg, your co-founder of TruNorth Payments, has a little more experience, and I'm going to interview him probably in the future I think on an office hours, more of the merchant services side of things. This is focused on the POS. In the last 5 years, what do you remember your first POS you sold, whether it was with us or not? I'm assuming it wasn't. It was before you were working with us. What was your first POS, and what was that experience like, Ben?
First one I ever sold was at a little bar and restaurant in my hometown. The name of the POS was Zuza. The experience was challenging, to say the least, not because of anything bad on Zuza's side. Just, I was green, had no idea what the heck I was doing. Trying to, figure out that whole path of how the heck does a POS even get installed. Like, I don't know any of this stuff. But I learned a lot very quickly. I drank very, very quickly from that fire hose. And, I'm the type of person that I want to know how this stuff works. I need to know the inner workings of it all, not front office and only know front office. I want to know the front and back. How do I install it? How does all this stuff work? And I had the opportunity to do my own installs, to kind of jump in feet first, in a lot of cases head first, and go through the errors, go through the pitfalls of things that you should know, but you really don't until you start doing it. And then you just react and figure out how to fix it. My first sale was a long process, and there was a lot of mistakes made by this guy. But I learned really quickly how to fix all that and make that process so much smoother in the long run. And then transitioning over to you guys with the POS pros, it streamlines a lot of that process that I had to do it all myself. Having Tim and the POS pros team backing me up and doing a lot of the hard work that I used to have to do by myself. Now I don't have to do half of it.
Oh man. I knew that story. I'd forgotten that I knew that before I even asked that, because you've told me about Zuza, and that takes us back, because Zuza we white labeled a POS, Matt Proctor. You remember all this. Salcha POS, that was Zuza POS, and iPad POS.
Program, so much Zuza.
Yeah, and I don't know how many locations, but we ended up just flipping all of them, I think, to Paradise at one point, because for us, it was what needed to be done. It wasn't working as smoothly as we wanted to, and we're always growing and changing, like Matt said.
Yep.
Ben, do you...
Wait, hold on. Before we go away from this, Ben,
right.
Tell me they're still not using Zuza, are they?
No, Matt, you know this already. You're baiting me on this. We had to make a very big change. We got easiest way to say it is we had to make the change.
Are we on our third system now?
We are on our third system over there, and all is good, all is well. But
good.
Yeah, we had to make some drastic changes in a 30-day period, and you guys can read into the rest of that.
It just shows how much they love you and respect you, that they're patient and willing to work with us. And we pivot, we make choices. Like you started out with saying, Nate, is, we're going to keep on adjusting to help our merchants out. So perfect.
Yeah. So what was, because I know you've done quite a few bars, you've done other things, but on the POS side, you've done a lot of bars and restaurants. Did you have an experience coming in that more than just that you had gone to bars and restaurants, or what drew you to be able to be successful in closing those deals? And then as you will work on how you learned to even make them really, really successful.
I fell backwards into it, I think is the easiest way to put it. I didn't even know a bar owner before I walked into my first bar to make a sale. I just happened to click with the people in that industry. I I'm very transparent. I want to know what their pitfalls are, and I want to help make their life easier. And I feel like a lot of salespeople, when they come in, they're there to make a sale, not to grow a relationship. And I think that when I walk into a bar or restaurant and I start the conversation, it's nothing about a sale. It's how do we help you get, better at what you're doing or make things more efficient. We're trying to just really figure out what that business needs. And to be honest, I fell backwards into the bar restaurant world, and I keep getting referrals to other clients, potential clients, and it's just kind of just been a waterfall effect ever since.
Perfect.
So the first thing I hear, and jump in whenever you want, Matt, but Ben, is that one of the things that's made you successful is that empathy. You didn't have a huge amount of knowledge of what was going on in the bar, but you were going to find out what their pain points and walk through with them. What are some of those pain points that you've learned that you didn't know that you were going to have to overcome, that you've learned to overcome them better in the last several years as you've learned more and more about how to sell POS in the hospitality area?
Absolutely. Number one is, how do they take an order? A lot of the places, especially here in Wisconsin, when I first started this just 5 years ago, they were still doing a lot of handwritten tickets and trying to figure out how to put it in a POS and trying to, get it to kick back to the printer, the printers right. Pinch points, making sure the menus are set up correctly and making sure that you're open and having those conversations on how they want that menu to look. My first deal, I had no idea what even a menu was in a POS. I had no idea how to set it up. I had nothing. I was relying on Zuza to help on that side of it. But the last, 2 to 3 years, really diving in and being a part of a lot of different POS installs. I mean, I've done quite a few in the last few years. Gravitating and knowing what their needs are, and then being proactive to what you see at other places and kicking that forward to the potential new sale and talking about it ahead of time and getting them the heads up of this. We should think about this, or we should think about this. And if they're using a POS, what are the negatives to the POS they're currently using? And do we have the same negatives, or can we fix that negative and make it a positive experience for them? A lot of them will come down to, do they need a KDS? Some places have never even heard of a KDS. They don't know what it means. And don't know how to utilize it, or handheld terminals to pay at the table or to order at a table. There's a lot of new technologies, and I know they're not new, but newer to the people around here, that when you start to present it to them, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm moving into the 21st century finally.
Perfect. So let's jump into this question. I like always getting our live questions here. Keith's asking, what system do you use now? What are you using most? So I'm going to add to that a little bit, Ben. Mm-hmm. How many different systems have you sold, and how have you chosen what systems to sell as you've grown in this industry and grown in this business?
And how have you utilized my team to learn more?
Wow, that was the inside code, but well, yeah. All right, there we go.
Well, number one, I gotta give a lot of props to the POS pros. I wouldn't even know some of the systems if it wasn't for them throwing it in my face and letting me drink from the fire hose at what that system can do. So I mean, they're doing fantastic. They give us a lot of feedback up front on what we should be looking at, or we give them, hey, we need this, this, and this, and then they tell us this would be the best system based on the needs. The number one system I'm using right now currently is Quick POS. I can't give enough praise to Ming and Tom and Rain and the team over there. Number one, they treat me fantastic. There's not a lot of POS companies where you're going to get the owners to have a conversation with you, let alone to answer your calls or your texts or your emails when you need help. So that alone is something that's unique to them. But I have sold, I'm going to say, somewhere around 10 different systems in my 5 years of doing this. Why I've gravitated away from some is, truthfully, very much so lack of support. They say something on the front end that they're going to help with X, Y, and Z, and then the proof in the pudding is not there. They don't follow up with what they're going to, what they promised you they would work on. I have systems out there right now that I would love to move the customer away from them in a heartbeat, just because the support has been not positive on my side for quite a while now. I can pick on some of them. I have some that I can get on the phone and I'll sit on the phone for 4 hours waiting to get through to get help. You have some, like quick, you can throw out a telegram and somebody's answering it within 5 minutes. I'm sitting here looking at messages pop up on the Telegram app of things they're helping me with, and I'm not even asking the questions. So they're always proactively working on that side. But I've sold somewhere around 10. That's not just restaurant, that's both restaurant and retail.
Yep.
I
And
think
I
I
would
answered all the
piggyback here.
questions, right?
Yeah, I think you got them all. I think you
Yeah.
got them all. Well, and what I'm hearing and what I think is the most important for all of our partners that are watching this to know is you and your partner Greg, I mean, really, you guys have turned into more consultants now. It's not just
Yep.
sales. Now you're going in, you're trying to help them fix their needs. What are your pain points? You know that we have a plethora of different systems, so no matter what, we can help them. But now it's a
Yep.
matter of let's talk about this. We have several systems. Let's make sure we find you the right one. And I love that.
Correct.
I love that, Ben. And yes,
There's no
guys,
one size fits all. If I can give anybody
well,
advice in this world, there is no one size fits all. There is no perfect system. Um, as much as I want to praise every system that's been fantastic, I'll pick
mhm,
on Quick every time. I want to praise them, man. They're so good. It does not mean that you're going to have a failed, a process that doesn't have failures in it. You're going to have problems as you go into the POS world. You have to understand ahead of time that you are going to run into issues. You're going to run into things failing, and that just means you have to be reactive. You have to be able to be positive in that
mhm.
reaction, and being invited to the shows, I'm not going to lie, that has helped us tremendously, getting to know Rain and Ming, meeting them at the different shows. And
Hold on, Ben.
when you
Hold on.
go
You're
back,
like one of the best people at shows, okay? Because we've been to shows with plenty of agents, and they'll just walk around. But Ben, he wants to get in there. He gets right up in there, and he's like, "Hey, who are you, Lala? Nice to meet you." And he's just playing around. He's wanting to program things. He's wanting to ring things up. It's awesome because
you
that's
need
your
to.
business. That's your baby. That's
Absolutely.
how it should be. And I see other partners that they only want to go because they had an issue 2 years ago with that one system. They want to go talk. Like, no, let's be productive. Let's find new things. You're great at
There is
shows, man. I just follow you around.
dude, there's so much you can learn at a show. There's always that new technology that they're always, every POS is they're showcasing what the future is going to be for their POS. It may not 100% be there today, but they're already showcasing what they can do. So I want to get my hands on it. I want to get in and get my hands dirty with what's happening, what they're using, what kind of technologies do we have, and how do I better offer that system to a potential client that we're going to bring on board. But I will tell you, my number one thing I look for though is support. You have to have the support, and if you can't follow through on the support side, I cannot offer your system.
Love that.
Very blunt on that.
And I'm going to jump in here and because I was going to make this promotion at the end, but I'll say now we have another Western States is the last show of the acquiring shows of the year in Scottsdale, September 8th through 10th. Ben's actually been to two of the three shows this year with us. If you're going to be there, one, tell us because we want to invite you to dinner or coffee or make sure we're connecting. But that's a great way. That's why I'm not scared for you to be around our competitors because ultimately, if you're around us, I think we set ourselves apart. But I love that you're walking around with our vendors, with not only our POS vendors and our software vendors, and some of the shows have like our underwriting and things like that are at them. And there's so many things that you can learn and interact. So make sure if you're coming to Western States, come to that. Matt, what's the next question for Ben? What do you got? See, I threw him.
Actually, no, I do have a question for Ben. Okay.
Right.
So we already know, Ben, you are awesome in the food and beverage space. That's my space. I love it. Bars, restaurants, all this. But I notice it seems like we haven't had as many retail opportunities come through from your team. And we do have a couple great retail systems, one in particular that has amazing support. So I just want to ask you, are you guys going to pivot and maybe start moving into that retail space as well? Or maybe with some of your agents going after liquor stores, vape shops, smoke. See, we do all that extremely well. What about your team?
I will tell you, we don't discriminate against anybody. We're going to go have those conversations with any clientele, no matter what business unit they're in. Retail on our side is not something we shy away from. I've been in many different liquor stores, many different convenience stores. I got a handful of them on my books as we talk. with different POS systems. So it's, Corona is one of them. We've had Retail Cloud. I'm working, Matt knows this, I'm going to be working here in the next give or take 2 months. We're going to be starting a process with the local single A affiliate of the Brewers, and hopefully moving them over to us. So I'm not shy away. I don't shy away from, and we don't tell our team, don't go to the retail side. The retail side would be awesome. It's just not my expertise. It's not where I get all my referrals. And as our agents come on board and they build their book and we're guiding them, they may fall right into that retail world, and that's all they sell is retail. So we try to get them to not be afraid, especially in that cold calling stage. Figure out who you are. Go into all types of businesses, because you don't know. I mean, I didn't have any clue about restaurants before I walked into them. I knew I ate there. I knew they cooked me food. That's about as far as it went. So just don't be afraid. Don't, go have those conversations. You might find a niche that you never thought you'd be good at, and you're fantastic at it.
So Nate, that question was really because I couldn't remember if Ben had ever sold a Corona before.
I have.
Okay.
There we go.
Because
well,
that is our number one retail.
And it's also
right
showing that he can't have perfect choices, because I know he's a Brewers fan, and I apologize. I think you're going to lose 4 out of 5 after today's game, though you guys have been doggone good, so I'll give you that. But but not everybody chooses all the best teams and all the right choices. But
come on.
Going in on that, Ben, as you've made those choices and as you've grown your business and now you're creating a pipeline, how do you choose which ones you're focusing? Like you said, you just kind of fell into and you just kind of had a rapport when it came to hospitality bars, but you also have, as you're now building a team, you're adding more sub-agents, you're growing TruNorth to go, in several years, you want to be in all 50 states. How do you figure out who you're targeting and how you help those who are coming under you to sell POS?
Yeah. Very specifically who I target. It's very, it's simple. I get so many, I have a laundry list of referrals to different restaurants and bars, and people who I get calls, I won't say daily, but definitely weekly. Somebody who's interested in, and they're having some issues with their POS. They need to make a change. My industry personally is probably going to stick towards the restaurant side of the world. I am looking at some opportunities in the B2B space that I have been working on, but those are a lot longer, slower sales. As far as our agents, the number one thing I will specifically tell any one of our agents, I don't want to put my foot in Greg's mouth here, but don't be afraid to walk into any business until you start to feel who you can be with and work with and have a good understanding of what they're looking for. So when we're recruiting and bringing on agents, I want them to have fearless abilities to walk in everywhere. You might not. We got a guy that does vape and smoke shops. Like that's all he's written. He just fell into it. He loves it. He's fantastic with them. He knows how to talk to them. He knows what they're looking for. And that's all just off cold calling and going out that direction to get it started. So we don't, I won't tell anybody where to go, but I will tell everybody to, make sure that you're stepping into go to the uncomfortable zone, because you will find that you can be very comfortable where you don't feel like you might be.
Well, I like that. Go to the uncomfortable zone. That's going to be something I take away. I love that. And go to sometimes places where other people aren't. And because I think what's happened, like restaurants were all in vogue 10 years ago. And more and more I have partners, I just don't want to mess with that. I don't want to, it's too much work. It's too much hassle. I don't want too many things. That can be true. But now I think there's less people providing the solutions, and you have so many other value propositions you can sell on in certain of these things. So you're not just selling on price. You're not just selling on the shiny name of Clover or Quick or hot sauce. You're selling on the needs that you've learned that they have, and you can create that rapport, and it gives more things that you can create that connection with. Ben, what have you? I always so we're going to go ugly for a second. I like the good, the bad, the ugly when it comes. Right. When I ask what's the biggest snafu, you don't have to name POS specifically, but what's the biggest thing where something went wrong in the POS that you can think of over the last several years?
Real easy. they tell you one thing and then the thing isn't even on the POS to work. When I'm the front face. All of us sales agents and all the rest of the people on this call or on the POS pros here that are watching us can tell you we're the front face. We're the ones that are going to deal with all the BS and all the stuff that happens when somebody else oversells what they don't have. And I have currently some POSs out there right now that I can't wait to move them off. Like I said before, because they overpromised and underdelivered. And now the overpromise of support has gotten worse and worse and worse over the last 6 months. So, things keep failing. And then the opportunity to get them fixed is taking longer and longer. And that's frustrating from our merchant standpoint, but it's also frustrating from a sales rep standpoint because, I would rather you sell it to me and over deliver on the back end than oversell it to me so that I start to sell your product. And then I find out it's exactly what POS stands for in most restaurant world people call it. It's a pile, right?
It is. Yeah.
So the biggest thing I would say is failure on that side. You're going to have, I walk in and the first thing I tell every one of our restaurants, I can't control hardware. None of us can. It could fail in 5 minutes. It could fail in 50 years. We don't know. You can't control that stuff. So I never put that on a POS company because they're not the ones that are making the hardware. It is what it is. But what we can do is react to it, right? Get them the product that they need in a quick and timely manner so that they can keep running their business. And when that side fails, that's on us. That doesn't look good for any of us.
How do you balance, Ben, recommending they call the support of the POS, making sure when they have a merchant services question, they're calling the right place, and then calling you? How do you balance who they're reaching out for support first and communicating that to your merchants?
Yeah, everything related to the hardware, software of the actual POS, I tell them they have to go directly to the POS company. There's nothing I can do to help. There's nothing our office can do to help. As much as I would love to say I can get in and do whatever and help them, I can't. So it's just being open and honest with them up front. And I always tell them a tip doesn't get entered in, or you need to avoid that you forgot you didn't get it voided out in time and it batched out, or you're not getting paid correctly. Those are all things that you come directly to me. Come directly to me or my team. We'll make sure that we get you handled. We'll make sure that we get into the weeds of why and then get it fixed.
Awesome. All right, Matt, what else? What other questions you got?
I was just wondering about the future. What we've seen from TruNorth, what you guys are doing has been phenomenal with the branding and adding in different agents. You've had me do some training overviews with your office, which I'd love to do that again if you ever want to, or maybe we set up a monthly. I know we've talked about that. But where do you see TruNorth in, let's say, 2 years? 2 years, 3 years. What are some great things? I mean, now you have your lovely wife also working with you, which is great. You guys are growing like crazy. So what's your forecast and what you're hoping for in the next 24 months?
Oh man, I would hope we have agents in almost every state so that we, our long-term goal, we want to grow the agent world. We want to grow and give opportunities. I look back 5 years ago and I know where I was at. I know, Nate said I was a recruiter at a college, and I won't get in all the weeds of that stuff, but there's a reason I left, right? It's opportunities. I hope that I can influence somebody and give them an opportunity like I got 5 years ago when I jumped into this. This can be life-changing. Not only from a financial standpoint, but from a freedom standpoint. There is nobody that dictates Ben's schedule other than Ben. I say this all the time. I have all the freedom in the world with no freedom at all because I dictate my time, and there's no freedom in that. So I would hope that 24 months from now, our team has grown and we got. I'll be conservative. I'll say we have 25 agents in 25 states, with hopefully more agents than that, doubling up on states, but. And active agents, people that are actually out there selling on a daily basis. We get a lot of, especially when you get the greenhorns, the people who've never had any experience in this world whatsoever, they're doing this as an add-on, or they're doing this as, something they want to test the waters on. It's getting them convinced that this is a career path that you can take and be very, very successful at.
Well,
so 24 months,
that mentality,
let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the greenhorns. You keep that mentality though, that you want to share this with other people and really help them grow. That's the mentality. It's going to, really stick with you guys. And Nate, I apologize. I saw the time.
Oh, we're good.
I know
We're
going a
yeah.
little
We've got
longer.
we'll wrap up here in the next 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So I'm gonna close on this. We did a little bit of the ugly when, hey, the POS doesn't succeed at their promises. They overpromised, underdeliver. But as you look back of your multiple POS systems you've placed and won and installed, what's the one that stands out to you that you're like, man, I can't believe we got that business? That it just, when you got when they signed to when they installed to now what you're, watching them grow. Is there one that stands out, or one or two of them that stand out?
Absolutely. Brothers Pub, they've been like a family to me from day one, and we've talked POSs for the last 5 years, and getting them to finally make that change on their side. It was definitely one I'm going to put on my on my rung. And I'm going to say, we had issues. We attempted a POS at one point. It failed epically in there. And that was when I was first getting into the POS stuff. So, to get them back, to get them convinced that I am the person that they can trust, that I am going to work hard to get them what they need, and to get them where we're at today, is pretty. It's a pretty proud moment for me. It was a challenging, convincing to get them to stick with me from a POS perspective after the epic fail we had at the beginning. So much so we had to pull out 4 full stations and 4 handhelds. I mean, it's a big deal to lose that.
Yeah.
All right.
We got him.
And
we got him though.
My usual last question, and Matt, if you have one last, but why should someone sell POS? We have so many partners that work with PayProTec that give us great business working with their business, but they just shy away from POS because they're like, it's too much work or too. Why should someone sell POS, work with the POS pros, and why do you continue to choose that? And why should someone who's either new in the business or just shying away from that do that as well?
Number one, they're sticky. And what the heck does that mean? That businesses don't want to change POSs all the time. So if you can get in with a POS, you're going to likely have that business for quite a while. I will say it is a lot of work. I don't want to sugarcoat that part to any sales rep that's looking at POS, but it is so worth the opportunity, the time. If you learn the POSs, they become easy to sell and they become easy to install once you know what you're doing. The first handful, just be prepared. The first handful are going to be a challenge. You're going to be drinking from a fire hose and learning, and that's hard. A lot of people don't like to have to learn as much as you have to learn from a POS, especially when you can sell a little terminal and it takes you 5 minutes to get it installed and you're done and out the door. So POSs are a lot more time consuming. They're going to eat up more of your life, but when you get good at it and you get them moving in the right direction, they're easy to sell. And then on the flip side of that, they are sticky. People don't change. I mean, I told you about the one POS company that we're having issues with, and the one client that I'm having the most issues with, she doesn't want to change. She doesn't want the POS to move. She wants to get it to just work. So they get sticky. They get, and be there for your client. I can't stress that enough. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be there and listen and try to help them get what they need on that side of the fence to make sure it works.
Love it. Any last questions, Matt, as we close out?
Nope. No last questions. I'm glad that you just said what you did, Ben, because that's one thing that we want to express, guys. If you do this the right way, Ben is their point of sale guy. He's not their quick guy. He's not their mint guy, their hot sauce person, whatever. That means that if they have any issue with the point of sale, they're going to Ben. And that means that we're going to keep them on board for the next 8 years, 10 years, 15 years, however long it takes. As technology changes, they're going to always go to Ben and say, hey, what's new? Or, hey, I'd like to transition into something a little different. What do you have? And that's the key of utilizing, POS Pro's office and all these systems that we have. We're going to continue to get the best systems. We're going to continue to make sure their support is where it needs to be, and beta test several merchants before it ever even gets out to you guys. So thank you for saying that, Ben. That's great.
Absolutely. I do want to chime in with one more thing, because I meant to say this while I was chatting back there. Utilize that PO Pro's office. You have no idea how much extra work they take off of your plate. If you're getting into that POS world, make sure you're letting them set up the demos. Let them do the quotes. Let them get that stuff started, because at the end of the day, they're taking a big load off of your plate. And when you have so much more to learn, you can now concentrate on other areas in that sales process. So kudos to you guys. I appreciate all the help.
Ben, we're getting the music.
Yeah.
We gotta get out of
The
here.
music.
Oh, I just thought Ben would appreciate the music if I chose. So I had it here, so I want to make sure you got it. And as we close out, you can make lots.
He gave a high five to Tim McCaffrey from my team.
There you go. So as I, play the victors, and you can all be the victors. I gotta get the right. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit, but ultimately to be the victors in the POS world, to make the right choices, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of grit, but it also means that you're going to build a portfolio that lasts well longer. You're going to have merchant. You're going to make up to 20x, 30x more per merchant when you're working the POS world. You just are on the lifetime value of those merchants. You're gonna see huge opportunities, and it's not always bells and whistles, but it's a really, really good. Ben, thank you for joining us. On behalf of Matt Proctor, I'm Nate Manahan, Ben Wickersheim from TruNorth Payments. Thank you so much for watching today. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.